At the heart of the city stood the Grand Ariston railway terminal, always buzzing with noise, footsteps, and people rushing from one platform to another. But on this particular afternoon, destiny prepared a moment that would shake an entire millionaire family and reveal the true worth of a woman everyone had overlooked. Jonathan Hale, one of the wealthiest businessmen in the city, had always lived in comfort. His mansion was filled with staff, luxury, and people who pretended to care. Among them were two nannies, Rita and Sasha, who were trusted with the care of his 6-month-old baby boy, Liam. Jonathan believed they were responsible and kind, but behind his back, both women often complained about the baby and envied the life the millionaire lived. They hated the long hours and the strict rules, and bitterness had slowly taken root in their hearts. Only one person in the household genuinely cared for Liam, the maid, Elena. She was gentle, humble, and always smiling. While others worked for the salary, she worked for love. Whenever she held Liam, the baby calmed instantly, as if he sensed her warmth. Jonathan never noticed how much she did, but Liam certainly did. One Friday afternoon, Jonathan asked the nannies to take Liam for a routine checkup. Elena asked if she could help, but the nanny snapped back. "We don't need you. Go clean something." They didn't want her around because they feared Jonathan might realize who truly cared for the child. The station was unusually crowded that day. Rita and Sasha arrived with the stroller, but instead of focusing on Liam, they were busy scrolling through their phones, gossiping, and complaining about their jobs. The train was already approaching the platform when Liam began crying loudly. His cries irritated Rita, who hissed, "I'm so sick of this baby. I wish we could just," but before she finished, Sasha, frustrated and reckless, pulled the stroller too close to the platform edge. The wheel slipped. In a horrifying instant, the stroller flipped, and the baby fell onto the tracks. For a moment, everything froze. The train whistle roared somewhere down the tunnel, speeding toward them. Liam lay helplessly on the cold metal tracks, his tiny arms moving but his cries drowned out by the crowd's panic. Instead of jumping down to rescue him, the nanny stepped back, terrified. We can't." Sasha screamed. "It's too dangerous." The passengers gasped. Someone yelled, "Do something." But no one moved. The train kept rushing forward. At that exact moment, Elena arrived at the station. She had come because she had a bad feeling she always sensed when Liam needed her. The moment she saw the terrified crowd and the empty stroller near the edge, her heart dropped. Then she saw him, Liam, down on the tracks, inches from death. "Elena, no," someone shouted, but she didn't hear. She didn't think. She simply leaped. She landed hard on the tracks, her knees scraping against the stones, but she crawled fast toward the baby. The approaching train horn screamed louder, and the wind already shook the air around her. Elena grabbed Liam in her arms and looked up. There was no way to climb back up in time, but then, two men lying flat on the edge reached their arms down. "Give him to us," they shouted. Elena lifted Liam with all her strength, pushing him upward just as the men pulled him to safety. The platform erupted in cheers as the baby was placed safely in the arms of a woman in the crowd, but Elena was still on the tracks. The train was seconds away. One of the men extended his hand again. "Jump. Now." Elena pushed herself up, grabbed the platform's edge, and the men hauled her up just in time as the train thundered past behind her, missing her by inches. People burst into tears. Some clapped. Others hugged each other. Rita and Sasha stood speechless, ashamed and terrified. Moments later, Jonathan arrived at the station after receiving a panicked call. When he saw the overturned stroller, the crying crowd, and the two guilty nannies, his world collapsed. Then he saw Elena holding Liam, her clothes dirty, hands shaking, face pale. "What happened?" he demanded. The crowd answered before the nannies could lie. "She saved the baby. The nannies almost killed him. She risked her life for your son." Jonathan's eyes filled with rage as he turned to the nannies. "You're fired. And you're going to court for this." They hung their heads in shame, knowing they had no defense. Then he turned to Elena, his voice cracking. You saved my son. You gave him his life back. How can I ever repay you?" Elena shook her head, tears falling. "I didn't do it for a reward, sir. I did it because I love him." Her sincerity struck Jonathan's heart. He had been surrounded by selfish people for years, but this maid, this humble woman, had shown more courage and loyalty than anyone he had ever employed. That day, Jonathan promoted Elena to Liam's personal caretaker, tripled her salary, and treated her like family. Months later, Elena became not just a maid but a guardian angel in their home. Liam would grow up hearing the story of the brave woman who jumped on the tracks and saved his life, and Jonathan would never forget the day he discovered who truly cared for his son. For more emotional and powerful stories like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay with us for the next heart-touching video.